Welcome to the Snazzy Sage Podcast. I'm Dr. Kerry, your host and coach. Each week, I chat with remarkable guests who are thriving in their next chapter with confidence, purpose, and style. Because the next chapter isn't about age, it's all about attitude. Let's dive in. Today's guest is a little snazzy, a little sage, and a whole lot of inspiration. My good friend Tom Wise is a former HSN host, current guest on HSN, entrepreneur, and stand-up comedian. Tom, I'm so glad you're here. Let's start by having you share a bit about your journey.
Absolutely, Dr. Kerry. I'm one of eight, originally from Chicago, two younger brothers, everybody else older. In the early 80s, I came to Florida and worked with my sister. A couple of turns later, I ended up auditioning to be on the HSN Home Shopping Network. That was in 1987. Got that job, worked for them about 10 years. And I was asked to leave after about 10 years. As we all know, when you get a job, you're on the clock to when you're going to get, not have that job. I really enjoyed that. I was in management for a little bit. I was on air. After that, I started working with Kevin Harrington. You might be familiar with that name. He pops up on Facebook every now and again as he's giving seminars. He's one of the original infomercial guys. He and his brother, Tim, did the original infomercial for the Ginsu knife back in the 80s. And I worked for them for about 3 years. And then I decided to go off on my own, and I found some products to bring to home shopping. So I became a vendor for them. I was an on-air guest for them, and I'm continuing to do that as we're moving it. That was back in 2000, 2004. I became a vendor, so I've been doing that for 20 years or so. It's crazy how the years go by. Then I did a little stand-up comedy about 12 years ago. I was in an improv class at Ruth Eckerd Hall. I enjoyed that for about 2 or 3 years, and I say, this is fun, but I want to do something else. So I started doing stand-up comedy, and I'm doing that today as a hobby. I produce some shows over at the Safety Harbor Spa, which is a lot of fun. I just recently wrapped up the open mic I was doing for about 4 years. These things run their courses. I'm always getting fired from everything. I have a new record. I just opened one up at the Hidden Anchor in Tarpon Springs. We did that 3 times, and we're done. We're wrapped it up. Cut your losses early.
What made you want to get into stand-up comedy?
It's funny. I've always thought that I was funny. All right, I've always enjoyed laughing. My brother Bernie was the funniest one in the family. And I always thought that in some way I'd get into that comedy thing, doing something in comedy. Of course, you never did it. I took a radio class when I was in my 20s, like a 3-month correspondence class where you just go to be an intensive. I wanted to be a disc jockey, talk show host. And the comedy thing was kind of like one of, I could have been a teacher or a lawyer. It's all the same thing. It's like, public performance. But I always liked the comedy. And I remember watching a movie with Billy Crystal, and it was Mr. Saturday Night. And it was about kind of a version of a movie about Milton Berle getting started, and his brother ends up being his agent. Anyway, there's a scene at the end of the movie where Billy Crystal's talking to his brother, and Billy's had an amazing career, and his brother's been in the shadows, and he's saying, you could have been a comic, you could have done it too, you were just afraid. And I'm watching this book go, oh my gosh, he's talking to me. I should do this. I should try it. Don't not do something because you're afraid. And sure enough, I did the improv, and it was kind of a little bit of a dip into that. You had a lot of support, and I did about 3 or 4 spins of that, about 3 or 4 years of improv. I said, I really wanted to do stand-up, and I took a class down at McCurdy's, and that was a nice little springboard. And that's like 10 years, 11 years ago, and I'm still just doing it as a hobby. It's a great way to meet a lot of fun and interesting people, exercise your brain, challenge yourself. So many good things about it. And just also you're laughing, right?
Absolutely. What I admire about you so much, you enter contests, you're running your own shows, you're out there, you're constantly writing and creative, and your material makes my stomach hurt.
Well, you're very kind. As you've done the same thing, Dr. Kerry, right? We don't need it. We're not going to generate any income on it. It's just a great fun hobby, great way to meet fun people like yourself.
Yes, it's an amazing hobby. I miss it very much. It's a great way to laugh, great way to get out and see different people in the community and really take the negative that happens in your life, find the silver lining, and make a joke out of it.
Right. And I've been doing retirement homes lately. It's a kind of
Nice.
a crapshoot. Sometimes, they're not really responsive, but sometimes they really are. They're very, very grateful for us coming by, putting on a show for an hour or so. It's nice.
Yeah, I used to run some shows at retirement homes in South Florida. It was the same thing. It was either they'd laugh or it was dead silence, and it was a good practice to work on that self-esteem.
Right. Yeah. How many times do you want to quit comedy? I remember that on a Thursday night, I'd been doing a show. Oh, I'm out. I'm done. Nobody gets
Yeah.
me. It's exhausting. They hate me. I don't know what I'm doing. And then the next
Yeah.
show, they go crazy
I think it's the comedy is the best way to teach you how to handle rejection.
because there's
Yeah.
plenty of it. And I'm glad I got into comedy late in life because if I was in my 20s or something and I was getting all this rejection, it would be like devastating. But when you're older, you can take a little bit more. You don't care as much, right?
That's true. That's true. And, it gets you out, and I'm finding not doing comedy, I'm just home and, desperately missing it. So this podcast is a great way to kind of get back into it a little bit.
Have you ever taken an improv class?
I haven't, but I've heard great things. It's on my bucket list.
You would love it. It's great support. You learn. It's funny. I wish when people are doing techniques like somebody's teaching you something and you're doing like these little games. They do a lot of games in improv, but they don't really explain what this game is about. And if you ever take an improv class, I think you might recognize it's like, but essentially it's all about supporting and being positive and yes and adding to the scene. Sometimes you lose all that in the games. It's kind of an aside, but when you realize I'm doing these games because this is building up that muscle of support, muscle of adding, it's fun.
Yeah, and the cool thing about stand-up comedy is there's so many things that can help public speaking skills, body language skills, improv. I took an acting class once. I failed miserably, but it taught me to, have a different persona. We did some games and, just those tools and skills that I learned in that class I could apply on stage.
Yes, I did acting twice. I was horrible. It was odd. It was like I acted once when I was 26, and then 20 years later, I did it again at the same spot. It was like 20 years to the month. It was crazy. Both were horrible, but they were fun. That was fun.
So, Tom, I follow you on social media, and I see you have a special DIY project you've been working on.
Dr. Kerry, I'm wondering how I ended up on this thing. But sometimes when something strikes you and you're just going in that direction, let's just go with it. I had this crazy idea. I don't know if I must have saw it on Facebook. Somebody was converting Amazon vans. They're taking old Amazon vans. They would buy, then they were buying new ones, Ford Transits or a Mercedes Sprinter, and they would take those vans and they'd convert them into campers. They'd add a bed, they'd put electric in there, they'd get solar on the top, they'd get water over here. Here's a sink, spin the swivel the seats around. It's like, this is great because you could kind of drive in the city. You're not driving one of those, I've got nothing against them, the big RVs that are 48 feet long and you're trucking around. You can't hide that somewhere. And I'm saying, I'd like to dip in the city. Boston, maybe do a comedy set, travel around. You could hide a little bit in these things because they look like delivery trucks. So I've been working on it. Gosh, it's been a long time. I think I took delivery of it last August. And it takes a while to start ripping stuff out. And I've watched 100 hours of YouTube. It's all there. Without the YouTube, I would do nothing. I wouldn't have any place to start. But it's a great project, and I'm enjoying the process. And I want to go see something. I want to go out west. I want to go north in the summertime. I want to be cooler. I want to go to Montana, maybe Alaska. Who knows?
So a couple of questions from Snazzy and Sage. How do you view aging?
I was playing golf with my buddy Bob Sarkosti, the original Home Shopping Network host. He's kind of mini famous in a little mini category. He's 75. We play golf at least once a week on average, sometimes more. And we were talking about that the other day. I said, Bob, I was watching a TikTok. Somebody did an experiment once. They took a bunch of people in their 60s and 70s, told them to think like, okay, this is 20 years ago. You're 40, you're 50. And they put them in like a condo and they put Peter Max posters up and Beatles posters. And they try to make it feel like it was like 20 years ago. And then they found out, they tested the people. They were taller. They were better cognitive. They were just thinking like they were 20 years younger. It's like, it's all in your head. I think it's a challenge to stay current. I like to listen to a podcast. Somebody was telling me this Minecraft movie that's out now. Oh, that's for 14-year-olds. Well, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see what's influencing people these days. I do enjoy TikTok because you get a lot of stuff that never would come my way naturally because I'm not, I listen to podcasts and I drive a truck. But if I'm listening to TikTok, I'm going, this is crazy. I'm getting different, information from all sorts of the corners of the world. Plus, I'm fortunate. I've got my twin daughters, my son. That's a great focus and a blessing.
Tom, what's your go-to style piece?
I'm horrible. If I could be like Thomas Edison, wear the same suit every day, that would be me. I like wearing black, a lot of black T-shirts.
Tom, what's next for you?
Well, I'm anxious to get the band on, and I'd like to land a couple more spots to do more comedy shows.
How can someone follow you on social media to learn more about your comedy shows?
I post everything on Facebook. I'm Tom Wise Tampa will get you to me if you find me, and then we can become friends or follow me. So I post all the spa shows, any open mic I'm doing, things like that. It's all there.
Fantastic. Well, Tom, thank you so much for being here. This has been so enlightening, and I'm excited to share your story with our audience.
Absolutely. Dr. Kerry, thanks for having me. You look great, and thanks. That was a lot of fun. Thank you very much.
Thank you for tuning in to Snazzy and Sage. If you loved today's episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend. Want to elevate your style and confidence? Visit snazzyandsage.com to explore individual and group coaching that helps you look and feel your best from the inside out. Until next time, stay snazzy.